Welcome to the Witty Bitties of Nevada, a podcast where we talk about many subjects. Thank you for joining today's topic on mental health. We are not clinicians, but we are passionate advocates. We believe that talking openly lifts the stigma uh, of talking about mental health or even dealing about mental health. Please like, subscribe, and comment. The comments help us improve and are also to let us know what you'd like to hear us talk about and share your thoughts. You can also listen to us on Spotify, listen while driving, watching on YouTube. Well, don't drive and watch, but you can also listen to us on YouTube while you're driving. And thank you again for joining us.
Thank you and welcome. In the world of constant information and pressure, caring for our minds is more vital than ever. Let's talk about some things and help get closer to understanding ourselves and each other. Let's dive into mental health matters.
Okay, I'm not laughing. I'm sorry. You might have saw me poke my friend, and I poked her where normally you shouldn't. So I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. Mental health is part of our overall well-being. It shapes how we think, feel, and interact. But these conversations are often hidden away by stigma and misunderstandings.
Too many people feel alone in their struggles. We want to break that or break that silence and shine a light on topics and conversation often hidden by the stigma and misunderstanding.
Mental health is part of our overall well-being. It shapes who we think, how we think, feel, and interact. But these conversations are often hidden by stigma and misunderstanding.
Too many people feel alone in their struggles. We want to break that silence and shine a light on topics that are too often left in the shadows.
Okay. Mental health challenges can touch anyone, regardless of your age, background, or circumstances. Anxiety, depression, trauma, and stress are all part of human experiences. Let's work on breaking the stigma.
What mental health stigma sounds like it often shows up as it? What mental health stigma sounds like it often shows up as? Just snap out of it and it's all in your head.
Yeah. We tell ourselves that and we hear it from other people.
Mhm. Silence when someone opens up, assumptions that therapy or medication means weakness. These attributes can lead people to hide their struggles, skip seeking help, and feel shame for something that is deeply human.
Mental health illness isn't a flaw. It's part of life for millions and it's treatable. We don't shame people for catching the flu. Why shame someone for having a depression or an anxiety feeling? The stigma isn't cruel, it's dangerous. It keeps people from getting help when it's really needed. Talking about mental health doesn't make you weak, it makes you brave, it makes you real. Let's dive into one of the most common struggles, anxiety.
Absolutely. Anxiety is common but different for everyone. Anxiety doesn't always look panicked. Sometimes it's just dread, like waiting for the other shoe to drop when there isn't one.
I do that.
We treat fear like something to fix. What if we saw it and something we understood? Anxiety is a body's alarm system, but sometimes it misfires, and that's not our fault. You can be high functioning and struggle. Anxiety wears many faces. Recovery doesn't always mean easing anxiety. Sometimes it means learning to live aside it. These kinds of lines hit emotionally while making space for nuisance, hope, and complexity. Now that we explored anxiety, let's touch on depression.
Okay, depression can affect anyone. Depression isn't just sadness, it's a shutdown of energy, emotions, connections. It's feeling under the water when the world says just swim. Some days depression means doing nothing, but that's a victory because you're still here. It's not weakness, laziness, or lack of gratitude. It's a real condition and it deserves compassion. Depression doesn't make you less of anything, it makes you human. You don't have to explain your pain to deserve help. Silence is not proof of strength. Let's touch a little bit about youth and mental health.
Young people face unique mental health challenges, especially online. Being 14 doesn't mean your anxiety is less real or that your heart attack isn't smaller. Your mental health isn't a phase, it's a foundation. When teens open up, we shouldn't correct them, we shouldn't thank them, or we should thank them. If they trust you with their pain, honor it as a gift. Yeah. Young minds feel deeply, and that doesn't make them unstable. It makes them alive. Mental health issues don't wait for adulthood. They show up in school hallways, bedroom tears, and silently scrolling at 2 a.m. We don't need to tougher our kids up. We need to teach them how to feel safe. Say this to break shame. If you're young and hurting, your pain is valid, even if no one else stands it. You don't own anyone a why for how your mind feels. Mental health isn't grown up stuff, it's every age stuff. Healing starts, say this to offer hope. Healing starts with one safe person. Be that person. It's okay to be a work in progress. So is the whole world. Even if you feel broken, you are not beyond repair and you don't have to fix yourself alone. See and why we should look at workplace wellness.
So one thing is in the workplace, a lot of workplaces are looking at wellness and everything else like that. And it can be rewarding and also stressful at the same time. Workplace wellness isn't a corporate trend. Not every company does it. It's a human need, though. It's the intersection of mental health, respect, boundaries, and belonging. And it speaks volumes when leaders treat wellness as culture, not just policy. Why it really matters. Work doesn't have to hurt. If burnout is normal, something's broken, not the people. Wellness isn't a ping pong table for casual Fridays. It's feeling safe, seen, supported while doing your job. And those two things don't always happen.
That is correct.
You shouldn't have to choose between your paycheck and your peace of mind. And when I saw that, that was a little hard because you need a paycheck to play your, but if you're in a place that just makes you feel completely dread, is it you that's always feeling that way or is people making you feel that way? But if you're having, which then can lead into your depression, and it's like this round robin type of thing. So about boundaries a little bit more. A healthy workplace respects off hours because rest isn't a luxury, it's a fuel. Now, it depends on the job that you're in. I'm in a 24/7 type of job. And yeah, a lot of the time the job does interfere, but I also have to learn a little bit of work life balance and try to make sure when I do have the downtime, I'm at least getting it for myself. We reward productivity, but do we reward humanity? And that's a lot of things companies don't do. They reward, oh, Rosa, you're doing a really good job. Get going. Let's get those numbers up. They always
Absolutely.
add it that way instead of saying, hey, I know you've been working really hard. I don't want you to burn out. Hey, what if you take an extra, go home a little early or, just don't worry about anything this weekend.
Yeah, a lot of us don't get that luxury either.
Mm-mm. Mental health days shouldn't require an explanation or an apology. Um, Some companies, they don't necessarily label it as a mental health day. There are some companies that do. I know in my experiences, I just needed to take a day. So I told my manager, I said, hey, I need to take a mental health day. There was no questions asked or anything else like that. So, to touch a little bit about communicating with your management or whatever. So, on leaderships and culture, a lot of companies don't have this, and some managements don't, but they need to think about it. Management sets the tone,
Yes, they
and
do.
they really do. If leaders model a burnout, the team will follow suit. So, a lot of times, if your management is push, 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 go, 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 yeah, 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 we got to do it, we got to do it, and not think about, oh, wait a minute, this person's been working a little bit longer. They need to emphasize it. And wellness isn't one size fits all. It's about psychological safety, knowing you won't be punished for showing up authentically. Okay, let's talk a little bit about ways to heal from trauma. And I'm not talking major, deep, deep childhood, really bad trauma. We're talking just about ways to kind of help with a little bit of your trauma.
Trauma leaves invisible scars. Healing trauma is not a straight line, it's a mosaic of moments, setbacks, breakthroughs, and quiet triumphs. It's deeply personal and often invisible, yet it shapes who we become.
Yeah.
Healing doesn't mean the past disappears. It means it stops defining your present. That I like that a lot. You can be thriving and triggered in the same week. Oh God,
Yep.
yes. That doesn't make your healing broken, it makes it real. Trauma isn't what happens, it's what lingers. Healing is what begins when we start listening to what lingers. You don't have to remember everything to heal. You don't have to forgive to move forward.
Is that still a journey or is that part of a normal struggle?
I think that is more of a struggle. Did you want me to read the?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Not every scar needs to become a story. Some just need space to breathe. Healing can be ugly. It's crying, it's questioning, it's collapsing, and then choosing to stand up again.
Yeah, that is a struggle.
Absolutely. Offer hope. There are people who will love the parts of you you're still learning to accept. You're not healing alone. Even if your path is solo, your pain is shared.
A lot of the times you feel like you're alone and you might have loved ones in your life, but you might feel like you're the only one that's in it. But if you have friends or family that's very empathetic or can feel your feelings, they're in it with you. You don't always realize it.
You're proof that something wounded can still be something wise.
And as you can see, is mental health affects us all, and we can be triggered and we can feel it even as we're talking about it. It is a topic that's very close to both of us, and we both understand it.
Why is mindfulness and self comparison important?
Well, mindfulness and self compassion can transform mental health.
Should we redo that one?
No,
Yeah.
mindfulness and self compassion are more than just wellness buzzwords. They're vital emotional skills for surviving and thriving in an often overwhelming world. And yes, this world, not just the USA or Earth, but your individual life is an overwhelming world with everything that's inside of it. They teach us just not how to cope, but how to care for ourselves with honesty and grace. Say these things to ground a conversation if something helps. Mindfulness isn't about clearing the mind, it's about meeting yourself where you are without judgment. Self compassion. And this is one thing a lot of people is really hard is to
Uh
be
huh.
compassionate about yourself. You can say, I'm hurting. I still deserve kindness, though. So if somebody's being mean to you, you can say that. You can slow down without falling behind. Rest is radical. Say these things to challenge a misconception. You don't need a yoga mat or an hour of silence to practice mindfulness. You just need a moment. So a lot of times people goes, "Oh, yoga really helped me." Oh, just sit and meditate. I personally can't meditate. My mind continuously goes over and over and over again, and I'll get off topic. And, as you're sitting there thinking, but sometimes I just need a moment just to breathe. And I'll call it center. A lot of people calls it center, or they'll call it ground yourself. It's really just take a moment and stop your mind from spinning out. Self-compassion isn't letting yourself off the hook, though. It's challenging how you hold yourself accountable. You don't have to love yourself every second to treat yourself with respect.
Now, let's talk about the role of the community. Community support is vital. Community is a healing force. It's the place where isolation meets understanding and where personal struggles can transform them into collective strength. For mental health, especially, the role of community can both be life saving and life shaping. Say this about belonging and connection. Healing often starts with a me too. Community gives a pain a place to be seen and understood.
Me too. Do you mean that me as well, or are you talking like the Me Too movement?
The healing the me too as well.
Mm.
You don't have to go through it alone, and you never really were. Community reminds us of that. Mental health isn't an individual journey, it's a social responsibility. I guess yeah. I don't know.
You
I'm kind of,
socially, you need to be cautious,
oh, yeah, absolutely.
conscientious.
Yes. Say this to challenge loneliness. Loneliness isn't just being alone, it's feeling unseen. Community shines a light back. We're
I
not,
agree with that. I feel lonely sometimes, and it's not because I'm alone. I can be alone, but I feel more lonely because I don't feel seen or heard.
and that's where that community is so important. Surrounding yourself by people that give you that sense of community, for
And don't
sure.
be afraid of saying, I don't feel like you're hearing me. There's a difference between, me and Rosa here, we've said this to each other sometimes. I don't think you're listening to me. No, I'm hearing you. No, there's a difference between hearing and really hearing, or listening, but really listening where you're taking it in.
Absolutely. Say this about cultural healing. In many cultures, healing happens in circles, not on couches.
Sorry, we're on a couch.
This is not less valid, it's deeply powerful. Community rituals, sharing meals, telling stories, music, prayer can be mental health care too. So definitely reach out to somebody in your community, even if you don't have anybody. There's churches.
We'll get into that a little
Yeah.
bit more.
Let's talk about seeking help. I'm going right into it. Knowing when to speak professionally, knowing to seek, professional help is important.
Okay, we'll provide immediate resources and hotlines for listeners in need. You can also say that knowing when to seek help isn't always clear, but waiting until things fall apart isn't the only valid threshold. You can frame it in ways that empower listener. Oh, I can frame it in ways so that you guys know of a powerful way to honor your friends or understanding without shame. So here's a couple things. Say this to validate uncertainty. So here are certain ways to do it. You don't need to hit rock bottom to ask for help. You just need to feel like something isn't right. So you don't always have to feel like, oh, okay, I'm at rock bottom. Now I need to get help. You don't always have to wait until that feeling. It can just be a feeling. You don't need to be destitute, living on the streets and not in your car to go ahead and ask for help because mentally you just couldn't handle things at that moment. If you are constantly tired, anxious, numb, or overwhelmed, it's time to reach out for some help because you can't explain to yourself why you feel this way all the time. Help isn't just for crises, not when you're in an immediate crisis situation. It's for when you're completely feeling confused, frustrated, burnt out, or just don't understand why you feel sad. Okay, here are some ways to get encourageness, awareness. If you're showing up for everyone else but feel like you're disappearing, your emotional well being does matter. Remember, if you are not feeling pretty good, you're just going to keep draining yourself by trying to help someone else. You know, the old airplane adage, put your mask on first before putting it on the person beside you. Mental health check-ins are like weather forecasts. If your internal sky looks stormy, it's okay to seek shelter. When coping turns into hiding or surviving turns into shutting down, it's time to reach out. All right. So let's look forward for hope and feeling, resources and support.
As always, we share where to find help, including helplines, online therapy, local support groups, books, and digital tools for mindfulness.
Okay, you're not alone on this journey. There are resources and help ready for support with you every step of the way. So here are some national mental health helplines. There is 988, which is a suicide crisis hotline, and you can call 988 on your phone or you can just text 988. And the suicide crisis line, just to let you know, is not just if you feel like you're in crisis where you're going to try and commit suicide.
It's not?
No.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's just if you are in crisis and you feel like you need somebody to talk to. It doesn't have to be that you feel like you're going to commit suicide. It could be that you are just at a wit's end and you don't know what to do and you feel like you're spiraling or you're alone. And like a lot of people, when they move to a new city or in a new apartment or they've had major life changes, they're in crisis and they don't know what to do. You can just text 988 and they are manned 24/7 and they can help with any emotional distress. So it doesn't just have to be suicide. And then you've got the NAMI, NAMI hotline. And that phone number is 1-800-950-6264, or you can just text 62640. And that's a peer support and resources and guidance. Now, that one is limited to just Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Unfortunately, if you're on the West Coast, that is Eastern Standard Time. But if you put it into West Coast timing, it's 10 a.m. Oh my God, I gotta switch those. But is 7 a.m. Pacific to 3 hours difference, 7 p.m. So 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You also have SAM which is a national hotline. That phone number is 1-800-662-4357 for substance abuse and mental health treatment referrals. So if you wanted to know somebody you could talk to, you could get in touch with them. And then you've got the crisis text line, which is a confidential support via text messaging. So if you really don't want to speak to somebody, but you're willing to text somebody and they are 24/7, you can text the word home, HOME, to 741-741. But texting home would be a little bit easier. And if you're a veteran, there is a crisis line for veterans, which they also refer to 988. You can call the 988, then you press 1, or you text 838-255. And that is support line just for veterans. And a lot of veterans, they don't feel like they want to kill themselves, but they have PTSD, or there's just weird things that are going on from what's gone through with the military or what they've done. And they don't really want to go into veterans hospital because then they're going, oh my God, that's going to ruin my insurance, or they're going to put a stigma on me. But 988 is the crisis line. Not just, you could press 1 to go for veterans, or you could just say on 988.
Thank you so much for joining us today on this topic of mental health. It isn't always comfortable, but it's a necessary one. And thank you for listening. Please share your thoughts, subscribe, comment, and give us your thumb up on Spotify. Give us the stars. We'll take stars. And remember, if you're going to be bitty,
Be sure to be witty. And thank you. And that this is a topic we are going to touch more on, but this was something we wanted to talk about. And as you can see, is this is something that is very much close to our heart, and it does affect us, both of us. And thank you, and have a great day.